What do you mean there's been a cancellation? I asked, my voice tinged with confusion and alarm. I had been on call during my lunch break at work and had accidentally raised my voice, but I quickly hushed myself. I hadn't initiated any cancellation. Why was this happening? My mind went completely blank. The woman from the insurance company remained unflinchingly calm, a sharp contrast to my rising panic. According to our records, we received a cancellation request from you, and the procedure has already been completed, she explained. I had signed up for a savings-type life insurance policy at the insistence of my sister-in-law, Emily. She was an insurance agent and had pressured me into choosing a plan that was more expensive than the market average because she was under tight quotas. I'm Safia, a 40-year-old office worker living in an apartment with my husband and daughter. Today has been a whirlwind from the moment it began. As soon as Kevin woke up, he announced he had an overnight business trip and started packing. Meanwhile, my daughter, Madison, was in tears, saying, "I can't find my math textbook." Since Madison is only in the first grade, she needs a lot of help, which makes everything feel more chaotic. I wish Kevin could manage his own things without adding to the mess, asking things like, "Where's my travel bag?" or "Where are my new socks?" This year has been particularly tough with Kevin, and the thought of divorce is weighing heavily on me. Why can't you both get ready the day before? When I voiced my frustration, Madison apologized earnestly. "Sorry, Mom. I'll be more careful next time." I reassured her, saying, "It's okay. I should have checked with you yesterday. My bad." But with Kevin, it's a different story. Madison is still young. If you had prepared everything in advance, this chaos could have been avoided. Plus, you should have been thoughtful enough to buy new socks for your trip. His cutting remarks really got under my skin. I had no idea about your business trip schedule. Aren't the socks I washed and put in the drawer good enough? I prefer new socks for my trips, he said. I found his preference odd but kept my thoughts to myself. His overnight business trips are rare, maybe once every few months, but must have been scheduled well in advance, even if he hadn't mentioned it. If he needed new socks, he should either buy them himself or let me know ahead of time. Seeing Madison's tearful face as she pleaded, "Daddy, Mommy, please stop fighting," I turned to her. "Madison, I'm sorry. It's okay. Let's find your textbook together." Kevin quietly went back to packing while I began searching through the backpack with Madison. As I glanced over at him, I noticed he was packing casual clothes that seemed more suited for a weekend than a business trip. This raised a red flag for me. Could this be another affair? My suspicions were heightened. Given his past, he had cheated twice before, the first time right before Madison was born. At that point, I had seriously considered divorce, but Kevin had tearfully apologized and sought intervention from his parents. My mother-in-law begged me, "Please don't divorce my son," while my sister-in-law added, "Please don't abandon my brother." Their pleas made me reconsider my decision. Last year, Kevin cheated again, this time with a girl he met on a dating site, just like before. Kevin is the type to speak his mind bluntly, and his actions are transparently obvious, even if he thinks he's being discreet. His attempts at secrecy are almost laughable from my perspective. When he was caught, he cried and apologized once more. It was pitiful to see him, usually so arrogant, reduced to tears and sniffling. I told him, if there's any more trouble, we're definitely getting a divorce. I had him sign the divorce papers, transfer all our savings into my account, and reluctantly forgave him. But my feelings for him had completely vanished. His selfishness, including his lack of involvement with Madison, is unbearable. I'm considering holding off on the divorce until she's a bit older. In the end, the math textbook was easily found in the backpack, and Madison left cheerfully. I, however, was exhausted from the morning's chaos. With no time to make lunch, I headed to a nearby shop during my break. There, I spotted an ad for the insurance company and remembered that my policy was due to pay out a bonus around this time. Given the high premiums I pay every month, I rely on these small rewards to keep me motivated. I started thinking about what I could buy with the bonus, maybe some new autumn clothes for Madison. Feeling a bit more upbeat, I stopped at the bank to check my statement. To my surprise, not only was there no bonus deposited, but this month's insurance premium hadn't been deducted either. I was initially just puzzled, but remembering the morning's incident with Kevin, a sinking feeling began to grow. I decided to call the insurance company to find out what was going on. It turned out my sister-in-law was off that day, and another representative handled my call. That's how the cancellation issue came to light. According to her, the cancellation payment had already been processed, but I hadn't seen any money in my account. The representative insisted that all the paperwork was in order and that the insurance company had followed the proper procedures. It seemed like they were subtly implying that it wasn't their fault if someone had canceled without the owner's consent. I made it clear once more, I had no intention of canceling the policy. I'll follow up with Emily and my husband, but please verify this on your end as well. I made my point firmly and ended the call. Before I knew it, my lunch break was nearly over, and I found I had neither the time nor the appetite to eat the lunch I had bought, as other concerns were weighing on me. I informed my boss that I needed to leave early and quickly wrapped up my remaining tasks. Leaving the office ahead of schedule, I immediately called Kevin. If he was genuinely on a business trip and occupied, there was nothing I could do. Sophia, why are you calling? I'm at work, Kevin answered after a few rings, his voice sounding irritated. However, I could hear lively music in the background. It was absurd that he thought he could avoid getting caught. Sorry to bother you, but my life insurance was canceled without my knowledge, and there's no record of any cancellation payment. Do you know anything about this? I'm considering contacting the police as it might be a scam. Calling the police. It was me, Kevin admitted. I had suspected that Kevin and Emily were behind this, so when I hinted at involving the authorities, he quickly confessed, clearly taken aback. Although I had suspected him, my frustration was now boiling over. Oh, so it was you? Where's the cancellation payment, then? I used it to help Mom out, Kevin replied. Help out? Did something happen to your mother that she suddenly needed money? No, she just mentioned she wanted to go on a family trip for once. A trip? I was stunned by his unexpected response. You canceled my life insurance for that? To fund a trip? Was the business trip just a cover? Yeah, I'm the beneficiary, so you can't really complain, right? We're staying at a luxurious hotel. I'm in the lobby right now, and you wouldn't believe the size of the chandelier here. Maybe he thought it was acceptable since he got caught, I thought as Kevin bragged excitedly. What's with this attitude? I have plenty of complaints. Why cancel the insurance without telling me? I've been paying the premiums out of my own salary. You should be able to cover your own trip expenses. It's so annoying, Kevin replied. But it's the money I get if something happened to you, right? So, it's my money? You're healthy and not in any danger, so we can just start paying the premiums again. I was baffled by Kevin's reasoning. But the terms change as you get older and the premiums increase. Do you really not understand that? Well, I'm not the one paying for it, he said. Kevin's careless words gave me a headache. Do your parents know about this? That you canceled my life insurance without telling me? Didn't your father say anything? And Emily is involved in this too, right? You and Emily forged my signature, didn't you? Yeah, Mom and Dad were actually happy about it. They thought it was a good idea. It's your fault for holding on to all our money. I just wanted to enjoy myself for once. It's no big deal. We're on a family trip and everyone's happy. That family includes your parents and Emily, right? Why aren't Madison and I included? Aren't we your family too? Insurance is meant for emergencies, and it's better not to use it. Shouldn't you have discussed this with me first if you wanted to use it for a trip? You would have said no anyway. You and Madison are always together. It's fine for me to spend time with my real family once in a while. Plus, Emily was planning to sign you up for a new life insurance policy, so it's a win-win for you guys. Maybe. I can't believe you're not embarrassed to make excuses like a child, claiming you didn't tell me because you knew I'd object. That's exactly why I didn't tell you. You always get angry. It's so frustrating. If you're going to keep nagging, maybe I should just get a divorce. You wouldn't have agreed anyway, Kevin said, sounding unusually bold, as if being at a tourist spot had given him false courage. Understood, I replied before hanging up the phone. Be prepared. I'm going to make sure Kevin and his family face the consequences. I muttered to myself. My patience had worn thin. Kevin took me for granted, knowing I'd always forgiven him despite my threats of divorce. I used to think my in-laws were decent people. Even though Emily pressured me to an expensive life insurance policy, I believed she wasn't malicious. But decent people don't secretly cancel their daughter-in-law's life insurance and use the money for themselves. Like husband, like family, I'm cutting ties with all of them. I went straight to visit the lawyer, carrying the divorce papers Kevin had filled out as a sort of talisman. I filed for divorce immediately and then picked up Madison from after-school care. On our way home, I gently explained the situation to her. She was initially surprised, but she understood after I took the time to explain everything carefully. When we got home, she asked, "So Daddy isn't coming home anymore?" "He won't be home tonight because he's staying somewhere else. We're getting divorced, so we'll be living apart. There's still a lot to sort out." I answered her cautiously, unsure of her full intent. "Then let's start cleaning up now." Quickly, she said. "What's wrong? But we're separated from Dad, right?" "Mom, you don't have to cry anymore. I hate it when Dad makes you upset." "Madison, did you always tell us to stop fighting because you were worried about me being sad?" Of course. I had planned to avoid divorce for Madison's sake, but it seemed she had been holding back her true feelings all along. She intervened in our arguments because she was worried about me. "Daddy never plays with me, even on his days off. When I try to talk to him, he just says, 'Be quiet, go away,' like this morning. He only uses me to say mean things to you. I've been so sad. I love you, Mom." She smiled at me, and her smile warmed my heart. Madison had clearly seen through Kevin's selfishness, recognizing that he prioritized himself over her, and she was fed up with him too. Discovering Madison's true feelings in this way was heart-wrenching and brought tears to my eyes. "I understand. I'm sorry for putting you through such difficult times. Madison, from now on, it will be just the two of us. But I promise to take good care of you. I love you so much." Yay! Madison's joy filled me with determination. I vowed never to let her feel sad again. While Madison worked on her homework beside me, I busied myself with tasks like consulting a lawyer and researching real estate agents and moving companies. I then reached out to my parents. When I explained the situation, they responded, "Come back home right away. This way, Madison won't have to change schools." My father also offered to borrow a truck from a friend to help us move our things in the morning. I notified the landlord, the school, and the families in Madison's commuting group that we would be relocating to my parents' house and briefly explained the situation. I planned to handle the school's detailed paperwork later and called my workplace to request a day off for tomorrow. I wanted to complete most of the tasks before Kevin returned. The next day, my parents arrived, and we quickly moved our belongings to their home. By the time Kevin got back, everything was settled except for his things, which were still in the apartment. I left a note that read, "We are divorced. We are strangers now," and left the apartment. I imagined Kevin's shock at finding us gone and felt a wave of relief and satisfaction. The smooth preparation for this divorce was thanks to the research I'd done during Kevin's previous affair. I had warned him, "Next time there will be no discussion. We're getting divorced," and we had agreed that I would retain custody and all marital assets. With that in mind, Madison and I began our new life at my parents' home. Later, my frantic mother-in-law called me. She must have reached out because I had blocked Kevin's number. Knowing Kevin's tendency to cry easily despite his bravado, I imagined he was probably sobbing away. "What are you thinking? Divorcing my son when he hasn't even cheated this time?" she yelled, her voice so loud it hurt my ears. I instinctively pulled the phone away from my ear. "Sophia, it's not too late. Apologize to my son right now. He's been crying nonstop because he's so upset. Aren't you embarrassed to make such a fuss over this?" "Apologize? Me? Why?" I was so taken aback by her words that I blurted out, "Who are you?" "Eh?" My mother-in-law clearly didn't expect such a response from me, and her words suddenly stopped. I was taken aback by my own reaction. "Well, yes, it's me, your mother-in-law. Come on, Sophia, what's wrong with you? You're not losing your mind, are you? You're still young." "No, I only have one mother." "Are you some kind of scam artist? Like, 'Hi, it's me,' a phone scam, without giving your full name?" Since we were now divorced and effectively strangers, and given their tendency to handle things like canceling life insurance without permission, I decided there was no point in engaging in a serious conversation. I might as well continue with the pretense. "Don't joke around, Sophia. If you're going to act like this, we have our own ways of dealing with things." As expected, my mother-in-law was furious, but I remained indifferent. "What are you talking about? What can you actually do? We agreed that if there was another issue, get a divorce immediately, and Kevin himself told me over the phone that he wanted a divorce." My words made her pause, and I seized the opportunity to push further. "If you wanted to go on a trip, you should have consulted me first. Instead, you committed a crime. Did you all want to end up in jail? Unauthorized cancellation of life insurance can be considered forgery, punishable by imprisonment. I'm ready to pursue this thoroughly." I hadn't heard of any financial troubles in Kevin's family, so their actions seemed like a reckless decision, but that was precisely why I couldn't forgive them. What? Wait a minute, we can't be criminals. Please, I'm sorry. Let's talk. Shocked by the mention of possible imprisonment, my mother-in-law's tone shifted abruptly, but it was too late. I hung up the phone and blocked my in-laws' numbers. Later, I learned that Kevin was so stunned by the divorce that he quit his job and became a recluse. As for the life insurance issue, we resolved it through an out-of-court settlement for insurance disputes. My sister-in-law was dismissed from the insurance company, which made minor news. My in-laws became the subject of neighborhood gossip and faced criticism from relatives for their poor judgment and shameful actions, leading to their social isolation. With both Kevin and my sister-in-law out of work, they seemed to be struggling financially. Meanwhile, Madison and I are enjoying a happy and free life at my parents' home. Despite the difficulties I caused my daughter, I am committed to raising her with all the love and care she deserves from now on.